Welcome back to the show. The AIDS epidemic of the 80s and 90s rocked the world. It wiped out a huge part of a generation of gay men, including right here in Seattle. Now a memorial to those who lost their lives is nearly complete on Capitol Hill. I went up there to learn more about it from former City Council member Tom Rasmussen. So let's talk about the importance of this place. Why did you decide to build it and why here?
We wanted to create a memorial to remember and reflect upon how AIDS has affected our community. And we wanted it to be in a place that is accessible, that's very visible, and that's relevant to that experience and to the LGBT community. And this is that neighborhood. This is that place because this is on Broadway. It's on Capitol Hill, just north of Cal Anderson Park, and this was the center of the LGBT community, and still is considered that way for many years.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We were talking about different generations having different perspectives when it comes to the AIDS epidemic.
Right.
A lot of people may not know the stories. Is that why it's important to keep talking about it and having a place like this for remembrance?
Well, I think that having a place like this brings people's attention to the stories, and that is our goal. And one of the things that we have done is we've recorded stories of people who lived through those early days of HIV/AIDS, and they are online. We do have a website, and while I think people vaguely know that there is a disease caused by HIV/AIDS, many people still don't know that there's still no vaccine. And there's still no cure. There are medications that can keep it under control so that it's not necessarily a death sentence, so it's not necessarily a fatal disease. But still, we want to get the word out that we still have this incredible disease that's really affecting now millions of people around the world, including thousands in the Seattle area.
We were also thinking back to how eerie it was, how closely the COVID pandemic kind of mirrored the AIDS pandemic. We just did not know where anything was. It was called the gay cancer in the early 80s, just like we had heard COVID being called the Wuhan flu.
Right.
What did you think when you saw those similarities now?
One of the things that we wanted to do is to warn people that if there's going to be another health crisis, there may be blaming and shaming, and a lot of scapegoating, and also a lot of politics around that, and no real action being taken. So we had no idea when we started this 5 years ago that COVID was on the horizon. And what happened with HIV/AIDS happened again with COVID, where the Chinese, the Wuhan flu phrase came up. We're blamed for that. And there was a lot of politics, and there still are a lot of politics around HIV, around COVID as there was around HIV/AIDS.
What do you hope that people take away from this place when they come to reflect or just walk through on a daily basis?
Well, I hope that people realize that we experience an incredible crisis and humanitarian tragedies here, but also I hope that they learn that this community really responded in an incredibly positive and supportive way to that crisis. The Seattle community rallied more than many to create a hospice called Bailey Boucher in the Madison Valley. A gay clinic was created. The City Council and the Public Health Department really responded in a remarkable way, so that while the crisis struck us and we lost so many people in those early days, also the community came through. And I want people to know that they live in a community where there are people that you can count upon even when everyone else is afraid and running away. Those people will stand there and support you and be behind you all the way.
It's beautiful. I have no doubt that being an adult living through the AIDS crisis, it really left a lasting memory. You've lost friends. What does it mean for you now to see this place and see it finished?
Well, it makes me hopeful that people will respond in a really positive way to remember what happened in our community and how we also rallied and responded in a very, very positive way. It helps me to believe that incredible losses that occurred won't be forgotten. The memory of the people that were lost will continue, and that people will be inspired by what we created here, and that when the next crisis comes, people will rally and respond in a really wonderful way.
Another thing that makes the AMP inclusive is that there is Braille on all of the signage. To learn more about the AMP, we've got a link on New Day's website, and they have so many more powerful stories that are shared there. You really have to go to check it out, including one from King 5 alum Gene Enerson. So please go check that out.